Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Noisy Neighbours podcast. Solo pod today. My brother's busy. I'm jumping on here to talk about Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. He has sealed a loan deal this afternoon. Obviously, just watched the pre-season game as well, which wasn't very entertaining. So, hence why I'm jumping on talking about Rashford and not the pre-season game against Leeds. Look, this has needed to happen for a long time with Marcus Rashford leaving Manchester United. And I'm not just talking about the last 12 months. I think Rashford's time should have been up, really, if you're pushing it, really the season after he had a really good season under Ten Hag, which was the 2023-24 season. He came and he followed up the 30-goal season, which was a little bit fugazi, if we're being honest. He scored 17 league goals, but he was good. I think from the World Cup onwards, he was very good, and then he tailed off a little bit, went into summer, came back, and then we get the usual dip from Rashford, which we get good seasons, then we get too bad, then we get good, then we get too bad. So by that reckoning, this season coming up is going to be good, because that seems to be the trend with Rashford, is that he has a good season and then he has two bad ones, which is not acceptable for a guy on his salary. He was one of the highest paid players in the world and was not one of the best players in the world. That's not up for debate, even people who love Rashford. Marcus Rashford's been at United since 2005. It's 20 years, which is incredible. Obviously, he made his debut in 2015. Remember the game very well. Martial pulled up in the warm-up in a Europa League game under Louis van Gaal, and Rashford started the game. He scored 2. He then started the game on the Sunday against Arsenal at home. He scored another 2. I think he scored on debut for England as well. Maybe someone could correct me in the comments if I'm wrong there. But so obviously he absolutely burst onto the scene, to quote Micah Richards. But he actually did. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than that, really. And he played with a freedom. He obviously a gifted athlete, very quick, wiry strength, could hold people off. The shooting developed, good shooter. And then obviously he transitioned into a left forward because the number 9 role, he couldn't really do it on a consistent basis. And under Ollie, he did flourish. He had a really good season in 2019-20 season off the left, 17 league goals again, which is his best return. He has done that twice. And he has played through injuries. I think it's key to mention that certainly I think in that season or the season after, there was reports of the back injury. And then he went into the summer. I think we had the Euros in 2021. He delayed surgery because he was in the England squad and wanted to be a part of that. So he missed the start of the following season, and that season was his worst. He was awful. Forget the goal return. He scored. He was terrible. He got 4 league goals that season in 25 appearances. Obviously, Ollie got sacked. Ranić came in, and it was really poor. And I think at a club the size of Man United, if you have a season like that, you can have no argument if you get sold then. Now, typically, being from the academy, he got a bigger leash. Come back the next season, new manager in Erik ten Hag, come back, mean business. And in fairness, he did. He did come back and mean business. But that had to be last chance now. We've allowed a really poor season there in what you should be entering your prime. Now, what Man United is used to, we never had to deal with major dips in players' careers. Obviously, people have off seasons, but they were never the floor was always quite high for those. You pick a bad Rooney season, for example, or a bad Gig season. They were never worst player on the pitch, can't even play them. Like under Ranić, he couldn't even get on the pitch. He was awful. So you come back under Ten Hag, and then we get the 30-goal season. Now, the 30-goal season, okay, yes, he scored 30 goals. There's a bit of heavy lifting involved there in the Carabao and in the Europa League, not the Champions League, obviously. He scored 17 Premier League goals in 35 games under Erik ten Hag. Tailed off towards the back end of the season. He's a streaky player, Rashford. He always has been. When he's hot, you sort of have to ride that wave a little bit, which we did in that season. Like I said, in the Qatar World Cup, he was good for England. Probably should have played in that France game. Didn't. Obviously, we lost. But that's the thing. When Rashford is on one, he came back from the Qatar World Cup and he was on fire, scoring every game. Didn't matter where he played, left forward, right forward, number 9. He was electric. And obviously we came third that season. But something sticks out to me. And any United fans watching this or thinking about Rashford's career will remember the FA Cup final against City. City went on to win the treble. It was our opportunity to stop them winning the treble. And he played number 9 in that game against City, which we lost 2-1. Shout out David De Gea there, letting in a nice little scuffed volley from Ilkay Gundogan to hand the FA Cup to City. And there's a clip in that game where I think there's a ball that goes up in the air, and Rashford, it's either Stones or Rodri, I can't remember, and it's in the centre circle, and it's done the rounds on social media. Any United fan, or probably even City fans, will remember. The ball goes up, he stands and watches it, doesn't even compete for the header. Mate, you're a United fan. This is a Manchester derby in the FA Cup final. You can't be bothered to compete for headers. And for me, this was in the good season, by the way. This was 2023 summer. I'm like, right, okay. City win. City go on to win the treble. Sucks for us, but whatever. Can't pin it all on Rashford. But he wasn't very good in that game. Coming into the 23-24 season, he comes in. And you're already getting the feeling that this isn't going to be a good one for Rashford. Doesn't start the season well. Then we get the reports of was it Dublin or Belfast, where he goes, we're away, and he gets pissed, tries to ring in sick or something. He misses a league game. Ten Hag deals with it. And the performances were showing. He was not at it. He was not at the races, fitness-wise, physically. Obviously wasn't scoring goals. Got 7 goals that season from 17 the year before. How in your prime are you going up and down? You have to look at his off-the-pitch stuff. There's reports of potentially gambling, partying, stuff like this with Rashford. Amorim experienced it. Was it straight after the Everton game? He goes out partying, and that was it. Amorim never picked him again. And obviously it's led to the sale of Rashford. Professionalism of Marcus Rashford, it hasn't been there. And that has to relate to the up and down seasons that we've seen from this guy. Because he is talented. He is talented. I don't think this is like a Garnacho thing where I just don't think Garnacho's that good. Rashford has got qualities. He's direct. Yes, the dribbling, he's not got the close control of a elite dribbler like a Giggs, but he's got that unpredictability, that direct pace, searing pace, wiry strength, and the ball striking came on. He was good at shooting from the edge of the box. The finishing was quite good. So he has got fundamentals that, in my opinion, Garnacho hasn't got. So all you can think of is that these dip seasons are maybe relating to summers where he's not looked after himself, come back into pre-season out of shape, not got going in the season, maybe getting niggles. Amorim, straight away. How many games in with Amorim? Scored 2 goals against Everton, scored 1 goal against Ipswich. Fucking hell, we're getting Rashford's back. We're getting back on the upwards curve of Marcus Rashford. And then what? Banned for not being professional. That was before the Manchester derby last December. Ruben Amorim disciplined him and Garnacho and said that they aren't playing in the derby. And that should have been the biggest wake-up call to this guy. Obviously, he never came back from that. I don't know whether Amorim even left the door open for him or not. Whether it was just this guy's gone regardless of what he does. Did he come back into training after the disciplinary and really graft? I suppose we'll never know that as fans. We weren't there. We weren't at Carrington. The only people who can answer that are the people that were there. Obviously, then he goes to Aston Villa. They have a £40 million buy option. The loan move was okay. I think some people think it was better than it was. But he did keep Ollie Watkins out. Surprisingly for me, gets a couple of goals for Villa. Only got 10 games in from January. He was injured at the back end of the season. Villa don't trigger the buy option, and United are back where we started with him, in a position where we can't sell him. Obviously, everybody knows he's available, and 40 million was the buy option, so we believe that's the price this summer. As it is, again, it's another loan move. Don't think it benefits United massively, because we could do with that money coming in so we can invest it. Again, we aren't going to get that money in. Yes, the salary has come off. I believe Barcelona are covering 100% of his salary. Now, Rashford has took a pay cut to accommodate that. So, appreciate that, I guess. But I'm not falling over myself here. The guy was overpaid massively. Fair enough. He got offered that contract. But if he wanted a move and he wanted the Barca move, show us. And he has shown it. He has reduced his wages. Barcelona are covering them. Manchester United are not paying Marcus Rashford to play for Barcelona next season, which I think is important. Really wanted the money in. Clearly, we were not going to get the money in. Nobody wants to invest 40 million in a player that Manchester United have basically told the world is useless. And obviously, the disciplinary issues. A loan deal protects Barcelona's interest as well, because ultimately, if the poor professionalism raise its head in Barcelona, then they can send him back. It's a buy option. It's not compulsory. And even if it is, Chelsea have shown you what you can do with compulsory buy options. Just pay your way out of them as well, like they've done with Sancho. So, look, a bit of sadness attached to this because he is a Manchester lad. He's been at the club 20 years, academy, youth team, and then obviously the first team, where he's been playing in the first team for 10 years. His debut was 2015, like I said. 2015-16 season, under Van Gaal. And it's a shame because I remember the first season when he burst onto the scene. Obviously, mentioned his debut against in the Europa League. Forgive me, I can't remember the name who played. Might have been Bruges. And then obviously Arsenal at the weekend. We went on to win the FA Cup that season with him and Martial as part of the front three. And I remember going into that summer thinking, wow, with these two, we are probably set for 10 years. And it's just a word to like how it is difficult for these things to play out like you might think, and how talented they were. They never kicked on. Rashford, Martial never really got loads better from being 18, 19, 20. Just a word to people like you hear talking about Garnacho, where don't sell Garnacho. He's 20, so he's just going to get better and better and better. I heard Rio Ferdinand saying it. It doesn't always work like that. There's a lot of intangibles attached to that, and I wouldn't mind, but Rashford and Martial particularly had really good fundamentals, and they never went on to anything amazing anyway. Obviously, we never won league titles with them or anything major. So it's just good to keep in the memory that talented players like Marcus Rashford, there's a lot more that can go into it than just going, oh, he's great at 18, he's going to be world class at 28. Doesn't work like that. We can't even sell the guy for 40 million. Yes, he's off the books now, and I don't know what United can do with that, whether there's manoeuvrability. We're getting a loan player in for whatever Rashford was on a week. I don't know. I don't know what United are going to do now. Clearly, we would like to go back into the market. We need a goalkeeper, probably need a midfielder, and definitely need number 9. So really, we wanted that money in. We want money in for Garnacho. We need money in to spend, I believe, after Burmo. We are struggling because we've not got cash. So yeah, would have preferred the permanent sale, and also just to draw a line, really, because I'm not ruling out him coming back. Just because I know, like, people are going to go, he's going to do really well there, and he might do. But is he going to play enough? He's not going to be first choice, is he? Because Rafinha plays. So unless you're going to say he's going to play number 9, I've watched Rashford play number 9. He's not very good there. He's good off the left, where Rafinha plays, and Rafinha's better than Rashford. So I don't, and you're miles on the other side, so you can forget that he's nowhere near that level. So unless Lewandowski's coming out and Rashford's going number 9 for Barca, I don't know really what that's going to look like. So I wouldn't rule out us being in this exact position this time next year, where again we have got him back at the club. Amorim doesn't want him at Carrington, and we can't sell him. So look, I suppose if he has a good season, that should guarantee a sale and get the cash in. But again, really, it's risk-free for Barca, and United, again, nothing off it other than just the salary. So, yeah, look, Rashford is the guy who lived the dream, really. United fan, gets scouted, gets into the academy, goes through the youth team setup, gets given a chance in a Europa League game after an injury crisis, and then goes on to get mega contracts, plays 30, 40, 50 games a season from being a United lad, and it ends with disciplinaries. Don't even want him training at Carrington, and then loan deals in the supposed prime of his career. You know, it's sad really, because he's 27 years old. This should be the absolute best version of Rashford. He's not in the England squad at the minute. Maybe he finds a way back in there. Maybe obviously the World Cup this time next year. That's his thought process. Get back in that, but yeah, the sadness attached, because I think every United fan dreams of playing for Man United, like myself, and really he's in the 0.0001% of young footballers who makes it It's not even about just being good as a kid. It's about you've got to have a bit of luck and stuff like that. And he's the United fan who made it, and it's ended really sour, and it's a shame, to be honest. And ultimately, I think he was probably never good enough to win a league title with. I think most people would agree with that as a starter. But the disciplinary and not grafting, and like I said, the FA Cup final against City, these things will probably stick in your memory really more than the good times, and which is a shame because there was some good times with Marcus. And yeah, I remember texting my friends after the West Ham FA Cup game when he cuts in on his right foot and bangs it in the top corner. I remember texting him saying this guy's special, and yeah, I thought he was at that time. Unfortunately, not worked out like that. So look, it's semi over, I think. Barcelona obviously have got him now for the year and might keep some tabs on him. But yeah, United have got to move on as a club. Rashford's got to move on as a club. At least he has done everything he can to move on. People like Jadon Sancho, who haven't really even done anything from their part to leave Manchester United, just want to take the paycheck. So look, I'm not using Sancho as the measuring stick here because Sancho is a disgrace. But at least he has gone, I want to go to Barcelona. You tell me what I've got to do, reduce the salary, and then United have gone, there you go. You go to your club that you want. We get you off the wage bill. Hopefully, we can get some money in for him this time next year. And we all move on from it. So there was some good times in there from Marcus. But ultimately, it's probably going to be the way it's ended. That is the memory for a lot of fans, including myself, unfortunately. But I'm sure maybe in 10 years' time, I might look back at some of the, big game player, great record against the top six, brilliant goals against City through his career, and Liverpool obviously cutting in on his right foot, brilliant. So yeah, I'm sure they will. They obviously are part of history. You can't just wipe them out because you don't like him. But yeah, maybe there'll be a time when you can look back at some of those moments where he was a good player for us. But yeah, a shame with maybe he didn't surround himself by the best people, and it has ended the way it's ended. So look, Marcus Rashford has left Manchester United after 20 years, man and boy club, and we move on as a club, and he moves on as a player. Okay, thank you for listening. Wanted to jump on and talk about it. Catch us on the next one.